evening, everybody. I'm Leigh. This is the Combe Valley Campers live Q&A on a Sunday evening, and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again, this time for the second week in a row in my garage at home. And I welcome all of you here today. We've already got a couple of people in and watching, already commenting. Michael Cosgrove is in right away, letting me know what he's got to drink, which is brilliant. If you are new here, we always ask the question, what you're drinking tonight? And Michael Cosgrove has come straight in with a raspberry gin with fresh mint, berries and lemonade. Now that is a upper class drink right there, Michael. And his second comment, congratulations, Michael. He says, I have a van. Transit Custom L2H2. We'll be getting some mechanical items sorted first, then starting to do some basic fitments, awning, fridge, bed in brackets, just a double bed mattress and heating, and use it. Now that is a wicked way to start off the lives straight away. Michael's obviously taken some of the advice that we've given on this podcast on this live in the past, and he's found himself a van, and he's going to get the 3 fundamentals in there first. Well, we've got 2 of the 3 of the 4. Yeah, so if you're new here, what we recommend is when you get a camper van and you have no idea how you want it laid out, one of the first things I would recommend you do are getting 4 fundamentals. 1 is an awning, so you have shelter outside your van. 2 is a cool box, so you can keep your beers cold and your milk fresh. And thirdly is a form of heater. So no matter what interior you've got, if you're camping on a mattress like Michael says he is just starting with, then you've got heat, somewhere to keep your beers cold, and you've got some shelter. So Michael, well done to you. Congratulations. Alex Renouver's in, he says evening, and straight off the bat we've got straight into the chat. That is absolutely fantastic. So Michael, well done to you. Thank you for being the first commenter. Thank you for being straight in there and letting us know what you're up to. Again, if you're new here, if you've never seen us before, my name's Leigh. This is the Combe Valley Campers live chat, which we do on a Sunday. This normally supplements a video that we put out on a Sunday, or it joins the video we put out on a Sunday. We haven't had so many videos come out this year, and I'll explain later why. But yeah, we are here in my garage to help you guys answer your questions. If you have camper van queries, if you want to ask advice on conversion bits and pieces and things like that as well. So that's what we're here for, and it's lovely to get our regulars in as well. So like I said, we've got Michael, Alex, and now we have Alan. He's given us highly and a thumbs up as well. So good evening, everybody. Hope you've had a good week this week. We have certainly had a very, very busy week going on. What have you been up to? I am going to give you right away an update on this garage. Now, if you were here tuned in last week, I was in the throes of just getting this garage sorted out. I said I was going to get some lighting done. I said I was going to have some sockets put in place, and I said I wanted to paint the floor. Now, 1 week later, I've actually achieved all of that, which is madness, and that's not without the help of Ross, who's one of our guys. He's helped me put some shelves up, and Sam and the guys at SRB Electrical down in Hastings, and they've helped me put some extra lights in, as you can probably tell by the reflection in my specs. Who wants to have a look around? I want to see some hands up. Who wants to have a look around? And if you were watching last week, do you know what's coming in this garage? We've got Goggy Motivate says, hey. Marcus Harris says, good evening. Marcus is one of our guys. He is tuned in and watching. Thank you very much, Marcus. And Goggy says, got the package yesterday. Thanks so much. That is awesome news, Goggy. That is awesome. And my apologies for it taking so long. 22 of you in and watching right this second. 25, in fact. My screen's just updated. If you are here, you are watching, you don't know what to say, just give us a wave. Give us an emoji wave. That's brilliant. Or if you want to make your appreciation known, there's three dots up here on your screen. If you hit those three dots, and you find the little thumbs up button, that will give a like to this video and help it get spread out. If you are watching and you think you know somebody who might appreciate this live chat this evening regarding camper vans, head out and share it. I think if you do the three dots up there, you can then share the video as well, I think. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy has given us the the pink waving hand there. Billy Daly says, hello Leigh, thanks for your help as always. Can I ask, how many staff do you have to get through your amount of work? That is a very, very good question. Now, before we go down, Michael Cosgrove is there with a wave, and Marcus Harris says 5 of us in total. So yeah, basically, we have a lot going on at Combe Valley Campers at any one time. We obviously have the shop, as in the e-commerce shop. We have a website, combevalleycampers.co.uk, and there you can buy lots of conversion parts and goodies like beds and interiors and sound deadening and insulation and carpet, etc, etc. Heaters is one of our best sellers this year already, and that is managed by Marcus and my wife. They do pretty much deal with all the orders, all the phone calls, all the inquiries that we get in. We have a third-party web developer who's been helping us and who is currently building a new website. So that's a third-party, let's say a contractor. In the main garage, in the main workshop, we have Ross and we have Mick. Ross is full-time, Mick is 3 days a week, and we have myself, director of the business, but I sort of flit around the whole place at all times. I've been spending the last 6 to 12 months, in fact the last 2 years really, on the shop floor doing all the conversion work, but then we have a number of people helping us as well, third party. So all the videos are filmed and edited and produced by Ali, who you would have seen in our videos, and then we have Terry, who's our cabinet maker, and he has been helping us out for years and years and years, but is a regular face at Combe Valley Campers, and he's done everything from building our shop to doing all the lining and insulation within the place. And then we bring in other people like Sam at SRB Electrical to do our electrics and things like that. So there's lots of things going on at any one time, but the main core of us is 5. And yeah, that's kind of what we do. We all do lots of hard work, lots of hours. And yeah, it's there's always a lot going on. Always, always, always. But thank you very much, Billy, for asking your question. Dubs. That's a great username, Dubs, with a wicked Herbie avatar picture there. It says, evening, been watching your YouTube videos, great content and very helpful. Thanks for passing the knowledge on. You are more than welcome. Thank you very much for watching. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide you with the content that will help you build your your camper van, maybe maintain your Volkswagen. We haven't done much maintenance videos on many other vehicles, but that's because I'm a real VW guy, so all the projects we've had done in the past are VWs for the most part. Now again, if you are new to this game, in terms of the Combe Valley Campers Live, I ask you what you're drinking this evening. I'm being very boring. I've just got an orange squash. I've had plenty of cups of tea and coffee today, so I thought I'd end the evening just on a little squash. Also, what we ask is, if you are new here or a regular, you want to kind of let yourself be known. All I can see down on my screen with your comments are just like your username, so to speak. So if you want to let us know who you are, so your real name, be it your full name or maybe your alter ego, where you're from, have you got a camper van, and if so, what type? And have you been working on your van this weekend, or have you been out camping? Have you been out traveling? It's always good to learn who you guys are, because I can only really see you from your avatars and your names and everything else. So I've got a very boring orange squash. What are you drinking this evening? And also, like I said, I want to do a very quick tour of my garage. You can kind of see some bits and pieces behind me. Who wants to have a look at the work we've been doing this week? Dick's Biker's Guide to the Galaxy said Shanky's Whip and a Coke, an Irish whiskey liquor. That sounds awesome. I'll have to have a look at that. Shanky's Whip. Chris Richmond says, howdy, can't believe I missed you yesterday, dude. There's another one of a valued member of the team. Chris Richmond, he's our man over at Heritage Park Centre. He is an absolute dude and a big friend of the business and the channel and everything else. My missus just suggested that we should have a WhatsApp group for advice and tips and tricks, etc. Is that a good idea? Now, do you know what, Goggy? We actually, I think it was during lockdown or post-lockdown, we actually we started up a forum through our previous website, and it worked really well to begin with, but it's a kind of a hard thing to manage, a WhatsApp group or something like that. So we will certainly look into that. We are looking into the community side of things a bit more, so people can come together and share advice. So whether that be a forum, whether that be a dedicated website page, whether that be a Facebook group or something, I don't know. We haven't quite decided yet, but there's lots of things to do in the meantime, that is for sure. Karen Hoare has given us a big pink waving hand there. Could you phonetically tell me how to say your name, Karen? I don't want to make any insults. Linda B says, hello, drinking icy water, dry January continues here. Gosh, yeah, we are still in January. Right, hands up if this is, again, for about the 20th year on a trot, felt like the longest January ever. It's certainly, the weeks are going quick, but I still can't believe we're still in January, to be honest with you. Motorhome Discoveries says, evening. Motorhome Discoveries is Ashley and Hayley. Good evening, guys. Lovely for you to join us. Goggy says he's on a sparkling water. John Sear says, evening, boss. Good evening, guys. Right, so is that enough hands up to say we'd like to do a little garage tour? I know it's not a great deal, but give us a yes if you'd like to just see around the garage real quick. We are in a garage. I want to do all of my lives from this garage because we have a new arrival hopefully turning up this coming week. John Sear. Yes. Lena B. Yes. Chris Richmond. Need to know what's going in it. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes. Right, so don't get too excited because it's really not that set up here. Oh, Billy Daly says, yeah, for sure. Ben Wren. Good evening, Ben. Yes. Keith and Karen says, hi, Lee, and it's pronounced Haw. Nice to see you guys. Thank you so much. Lena B says, show us what you've got. Right, so last week, so this is just the very boring single garage. However, I'll show you the little update. So I got Sam and the guys at SRB Electrical to come down. And to begin with, I don't know if you remember, but all of these cables were super ugly and just pinned to the wall. So what they've done is they've replaced all the plastic light switches and sockets with nice metal ones, like industrial metal ones. We've now got plastic trunking and a large plastic trunking all the way around the top of the garage. So if you want to make any additions, then there's lots of stuff up there as well. You'll spot behind me, this is the first of the LED lights. Now that might seem a bit of a silly idea because when I open my garage door, it's going to block it, but I don't tend to do a lot of the work with the garage door open. So when I'm here at the front of the vehicle, I have a light right down here, spinning round. That is a new addition. This is my kitchen door right here. This is a new addition. As I walk through the kitchen door, like this, I normally used to have to walk all the way to the other side of the garage and click that switch there, or to the back of the garage where there's a switch there. There was never a switch right here. So Sam it was Wiley that came down here and did all the electrics, but we have the first light switch there. And we've gone for more LED light bars. So the vehicle we're having in here is going to take up most of the room. And I wanted some lights down the side. Now these are all left over from my workshop. These are all previous lights that we had in previous setups. So they were all just sitting in storage. So I thought, right, bring them down here. So we've got one light here under the shelf that me and Ross put up, one light bar there and one light bar there. So I'll be able to see the whole side of the vehicle from floor to ceiling. What else we got? That was near where the existing plug was, but again, new trunking all the way around. I've since painted round all of these so it all blends in. Trunking goes all the way around. Additional switch there. There's my diesel heater and tank right here. And then coming round, toolbox is now in its sort of final position right in the corner. We've put some shelves up here, shelves across the top, shelves across the side. And then, yeah, the extra light bars. And this is what we never had before. We never had sockets on this side of the garage, just ones behind me, just there. So we had another set of sockets here, new light switch, and all the lights around us. That just had a weird single filament bulb, so this tube fluorescent light went in. So this is it. This is the garage space as you see it. Quite small, isn't it? I mean, I could take some measurements real quick widthways, but it is just about big enough to fit a bay window in. That's right. We are going to be bringing my 1967 early bay. Is it 67 or 69? I'm sure it's a 67 bay. 1967 bay window Westphalia right here. And I'm going to be cleaning it up, filming content, and what I really would like to do is effectively restore the whole thing in a single garage. Let's see if we can do that. Now, there are some jobs I'm going to have to farm out, and I've already rigged that up. There is going to be some welding that needs doing, and the body is going to need to get straightened out, because effectively it's an American import 1967 bay window. And it's like it's been living in a scrapyard for 40 years. It's a very cool piece of kit, but it is battered. My plan is to remove all of the paint that has been painted up on top of the original, and then get it back to OG paint, the original pearl white, or I can't remember what the code is, but the original white, and then clean it up, basically build it. It's going to be like a budget project, but I want a patina ride. Now, whether I'm going to then slam that or lift the suspension or whatever it might be, I haven't quite decided yet. But this is where it's going to come, and hopefully, if I can get my ducks in a row, this time next week, there'll be a bay in here, and we can do a first video on it next week. What do you reckon? What are your thoughts? How do you like the garage in its current setup? And do you think I can fit in a bay? Who knows? Who knows? So, whilst I was doing my tour, we had some extra comments. Dubs says, warming up with tea after working on my T4, getting it ready for show season and campers and coffee in June. Yes, can't wait for that. Thank you, Dubs. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy says, still empty. Yeah, it's still empty. But the other thing I didn't say was I finished painting the floor. I had some leftover paint from my workshop. So that is, I can't remember what it's not a polyurethane paint, but it's it's a garage floor. It's a trade paint, floor paint. And so we've gone grey all the way around. What I decided to do was just to bring the paint up, just the quarter brick, half brick, so it's nice and uniform all the way around. It's not bare concrete anymore, so it's not really, really dusty. And I cannot wait to bring the vehicle in here. So yeah, Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy says, still empty? Yeah, it is. Rihanna Strickson, good evening. She says, hello. Taxi driver says, good evening, Leigh. Just got back in home. I'm enjoying a nice pizza, washed down with a large pot of tea. Very nice. Frankie Clipsum says, hi, mate. Love the vids. Just recently got a long wheelbase T6. Just finished sound deadening and started insulation. Would you suggest using the factory ply where possible or templating over new and thicker ply? Now, Frankie, we do a replacement ply kit that fits just like a factory transporter. The kits are available on our website, www.combevalleycampers.co.uk, and I believe the side panel ply kit is like just over £120, and that comes delivered to your door. Of course, I'm not going to stop you using the factory ones to template, but in reality, time versus cost, etc., getting a new set of ply is nice and easy. We can also supply the clips, be it invisible or colour-coded, and the carpet, and the adhesive, and the sound deadening. So yes, you can get it all from us, Frankie. But yes, of course, you can use factory ply, of course, if you've got what we refer to as trade ply, which is just the plain big bits of ply that cover everything and stop it getting damaged. Whip that out, use the factory ply style panels, or carpet the factory ply if they're in decent enough condition, or you're in a bit of a budget, which I completely understand. But yeah, try and go for the factory ones if possible. Trade ply tends to reduce the interior space of a van. And in reality, in a transporter, they're small vans. You need as much space as possible. Chris Richmond is in and says, I have a feeling I may be seeing the inside of that garage. Well, if you come down to the garage, Chris, there is always hot brews and snacks for sure. John Sear says, budget bay, is that even possible? Do you know what? Compared to the likes of a T6 or even a T5.1, do you know what? Bays aren't a great deal of money at the moment. You can pick up like driving MOT camper van bays for like under 10 grand now, which is crazy. Like the budget has fallen out. Sorry, the budget. The market is not fantastic for bays at the minute, but I bought this bay off a friend of mine just before lockdown, during lockdown, I can't remember now, and I kind of fallen in love with it, and I need to finish it now. Ben Wren says, slam it. Motivate says, hydronic suspension on the T1? No, this is torsion bar suspension on the T1, T2. It's only when they went to the T3, or what we know as the Type 25, that they went to sort of independent front and rear suspension. But yeah, I look forward to bringing the bay here, giving you guys a tour, and actually starting work on it in the evenings. You know, so if we can do maybe more lives, evenings and weekends. It should be fun. What do you reckon? If I did, let's call it an hour in an evening during the week, would you guys tune in between the likes of 8 and 9? Julian Martin says, evening Leigh, supping San Miguel and pondering insulation. What thickness thermoliner do you use? Possible winter use. Now, very good question, Julian. Thermoliner, you can get many different ones. Winter use we have used in the Mercedes that we just finished, that's now in the Arctic Circle. It actually had a layer of thermoliner already in it, the 6mm. And when I spoke to the team over at Dodo Mat, bearing in mind they knew that the Mercedes was going to go into up to -40 or down to -40, should I say. They said, go over the top of the 6 with a 15. So that's what we did. It actually had a total of 21mm of the thermoliner. So it's kind of up to you. If you know it's a fairly small space, and you're going to have, let's say if it's a Ducato Sprinter size van, you're going to have a 4 kilowatt heater. I would certainly say maybe a 15mm thermoliner, and then stuff as much of the Dodo fleece as you can in there as possible, and you'll be fine. John Sear says, when is Bully getting his makeover? Now, throughout this year and probably into next, we are going to be working on all of our cars. Bully is going to start getting his makeover and engine swap. The bay is going to come in here, so that's going to be my own personal project. And then we hope to do mechanicals on Bully. So it's going to be suspension upgrades, brake upgrades, and an engine swap. That would be cool. We've got news on the T5. Who remembers the 2K T5? That's been out of the picture for a while. There's a great story that goes behind that, and there's going to be a great story to come. So that'd be cool. And obviously we've got Dommy's van as well, the T6.1, which is kind of our flagship. And yeah, we've still got work to do on that too. Goggy Motivate says, you can get a Porsche engine to fit perfectly in a bay window, I've heard. That would be fun. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to stay air-cooled with the bay, and I've got an alternative engine to go with it. It's still a VW air-cooled engine, but it's actually out of a Type 25, so it's going to be fun trying to modify a Type 25 1600 CT to go in the bay. Taxi driver says, I'm taking my Ford Custom Panther people carrier to have its cam belt changed next month. I cannot trust any other garage but the main dealer. Cost of cam belt is £1,400. Wowzers. Yeah, that's some money right there. Now, I have a question for you guys. Obviously, we're all into camper vans. We're all into travel and camping and etc., which is why we're here. But I have a question for you. What other hobbies do you have? Obviously, most of us here, we're kind of regulars and we speak every week, and it's lovely to know that you do your camping and you're traveling. But why do you have a camper? Is your camper to support your other hobby? Is your camper van just to get out of here and remove yourself from the rat race? Or do you like camping and traveling in camper vans and have another hobby? What are your hobbies, people? Are you into motorbiking, painting, miniatures, Warhammer, cards, chess? What is your hobby? I'd love to know what your hobbies are. Now, I don't really have any other hobbies apart from working on my own stuff. Bit of a busman's holiday. I like to work on my own vehicles after working on everybody else's. But I also like collecting Hot Wheels. I'm not a huge Hot Wheels collector and I'm not a Hot Wheels nerd, but I love collecting little Hot Wheels cars. Like whenever I go to a supermarket or, I don't know, even Savers or Poundland or wherever it might be. If there's a Hot Wheels stand there, I will go there because it's a nice, cheap hobby to kind of get into and you get to collect neat little cars too. Billy Daly says, skiing. Next camper will be made for ski trips. Awesome. Oh, that's another kind of hobby, I guess, that we do as well. My family and I snowboard and the girls ski. So every time we go to Poland at Christmas, we always try and get some skiing or snowboarding in, that's for sure. John Sear says, just getting into motorbikes. Our camper van is purely to escape. Nice. Julian Martin says, mine will be for taking the Fireblade to the TT and to the coast fishing. Really, really nice. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy. Strange combination, but bushcraft and leatherwork. Also classic scooters and scooter rallies. That is not a strange combination at all. And this is why I love chatting with you guys and asking questions, because you're here to ask me questions, but it's lovely to ask you guys questions and to get some responses back also. Bushcraft and leatherwork, absolutely amazing. That's so good. And now, are you into bushcraft to the point where you teach others, or are you just into bushcraft? Because both are super cool. Classic scooters and scooter rallies, never been my thing, but again, I totally appreciate it. Alan Wilson says, hill walking, skiing and converting vans. Dude, brother from another mother. We love a bit of hill walking here as well. It's my wife who's really into the hill walking. I spent my entire youth walking the hills and going to the Brecons and Snowdonia in the army. So, you know, I've done that bit, but I'm loving supporting my wife and her new hobby of hiking. I want to say rock crawling, that's not what it is. What does she do? It's not quite rock climbing and it's not quite hill walking. It's somewhere in between. I can't remember the name of it now. Hot Wheels and Matchbox restoration is a thing. I know, John. Absolutely know that. I've wasted or consumed many an hour on YouTube watching people restore classic Hot Wheels and toy cars and things like that. It's very satisfying. Motivate Hobbies. He says fire dancer and instructor, boomerang maker, designer and seller, animal and wildlife biologist, in brackets conservation, FPV freestyle and racing drone pilot. Mate, that's brilliant. That's so good. Dub says, as I'm on the south coast, windsurfing when I'm not changing things in the van. Wicked stuff. Ben Wren says, used to fish a lot, love doing 3 or 4 nights on the bank, but that stopped for a while. Now back into darts again at home. Wicked stuff. Now, do you know what? Maybe I need to get a dartboard in here. That would be super cool. Taxi driver says, my passengers say I should do stand-up comedian work. Brilliant stuff. John Sear says, I almost forgot. Evening, Dommy. Yeah, Dommy's always somewhere around here, keeping an eye on the live, making sure people are behaving themselves. If she's watching now, she might shout through. But she's not a big fan of coming out to the garage because she always thinks there's spiders in here. There's not now. We've had a good clean up, but I don't think she'll be spending much time out here. Goggy has also said longboarding and skateboarding, absolutely. Chris Richmond says knitting hats, playing instruments, fixing things, fishing and beach escapes, and way too many Hot Wheels. Yes, Chris is another Hot Wheels fan. He knows far more about them than I do, and he goes shopping or hunting, should I say, specifically for the rare ones, whereas I like just VWs, cool cars, Porsches, things like that. I love it. Ben Wren says, when purchasing Hot Wheels, do you look for misprints? Do you know what? I don't. Again, I'm not a complete Hot Wheels nerd. It's just a little thing that I like to do. It's just a little thing I like to do. But I appreciate things like misprints. I appreciate the rares and the limited editions and things like that. But I'm not one to buy like a pack of 10 just to get the one rare car. If I see one I like, I'll get it. John Sear says, I watched a series on Discovery many years ago where Chip Foose built a life-size Hot Wheels car. Yeah, do you know what? There's another thing. There's a couple of people who I follow on the likes of YouTube and social media and things like that. What's his name? I'm sure it's Paper to Pavement or something similar. And it's a really cool guy in America. And he's been making some wild creations out of things like Isetta bubble cars. And he's sort of wiping the floor with everybody at these Hot Wheels competitions, because it's a contest in the UK, Europe and America, I think, where you build crazy cars. They get judged by Hot Wheels teams, judges, representatives, for a chance that your car could be epitomized as a little Hot Wheels scale model, which I think is super, super cool. Super cool. What about everybody else? What are you into? Is it good? Is it bad? You know, what are you up to? And another thing I'd like to ask, because I know we've heard some of this, and some of Goggy's, for example, trades are combined with his hobbies. But what do you do? What do you do as a day-to-day? You know, you finish here, 9 p.m. on a Sunday, you get ready for bed, you chill out, and then you get up on Monday morning to do what? You might not want to say that much online, but it's always interesting to share and everything else. Obviously, I build, restore, convert camper vans and sell camper van bits and pieces and do YouTube stuff. What about you guys? What do you get up to? If you're, again, what we'll do, we'll start from the beginning again. If you are new here, because we get lots of people rolling through, because as far as I understand, lives get presented to you on YouTube, and then you can scroll through and see what you like. So for those people who are watching who are new, my name's Leigh. Hi. I host the Combe Valley Campers YouTube channel and run Combe Valley Campers as a business. And right here, right now, we do a live every Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. and I answer your questions regarding camper vans, camper conversion, travel, vehicles, all that sort of stuff. And also we have a nice chat for an hour, which is cool. We've been going about 32 minutes and we've still got until 9 p.m. today. And if you are liking this video, if you do want to send your appreciation, there's 3 dots up here that you can press, and then you can hit the thumbs up button, which would be really, really helpful, and share out the videos. Do excuse me. Wow, that was a good one. Right, Billy Daly says, what's your opinion on vapor barrier, Leigh? There is a lot of different views on this. Do you think a vapor barrier is really so important in your professional opinion? Billy, this is one we talk about quite a lot, actually, and I'm quite happy to say it again if there's people who've not heard this answer. When you apply sound deadening, thermoliner, which is the closed cell foam, and the thermofleece, which is sort of the 3 materials that we recommend to fit when insulating a camper van, that is already your vapor barrier. Vapor barrier, the vapor barrier people talk about is effectively a second skin. So what can I use? I've got some goggles here, right? Let's use these as a bit of a diagram. So let's imagine this is the outside skin of your vehicle. I'll open that. This is the outside skin of your vehicle. You apply sound deadening first, then you apply some thermoliner, and then you fill the cavity here with fleece, and then you've got the metal of your van. So in this void, you've got 3 layers. This is the metal of your van, and then you attach your ply and your carpet lining to that. And what people are talking about when they say vapor barrier is effectively sealing in this cavity from any vapor coming in or coming out. Now that vapor being your breath, condensation, your breath, maybe steam from your cooking or from your kettle or whatever it might be. Now, picture this. You've got a cold can of Coke or a cold beer on a beach in a humid country. If you put that glass out on the table, or that tin of Coke on the table, the cold surface in that humid country is going to it's going to then condense the humid air, and then you'll see drips of water coming down the side of that Coke. If you were to wrap that tin of Coke in the sound deadening for a start, that is a thermal layer to begin with between the tin of Coke and the outside ambient temperature. Now, you're not going to be able to 100% cover that tin of Coke, but that is a first layer. And it's a barrier that is preventing condensation to lay on it. All right. So if we're bringing it back to this image of the outside temperature of the vehicle and the warm inside of the vehicle, and if you didn't have any insulation, the water would condense on the surface of metal here. But we're going to put some sound deadening on there first. Take that tin of Coke, and then you then wrap it with the thermoliner, so the closed cell foam. That is yet another barrier against water condensing on that cold surface. Okay, and then you wrap that tin of Coke in the Dodo Thermo Fleece. That's yet another layer between the humid air and the cold tin of Coke that will prevent water from condensing. Now, you're in a camper van. It's a metal box, and you are not going to wrap every single metal surface that is exposed to the exterior elements with sound deadening insulation or fleece. So there will always be areas of metalwork that water may condense. Always. So there will always be a form of condensation in your van. If you go ahead and you cover that cavity with another plastic skin, that vapor or the condensed air will always be trapped within that cavity. And over time, that water will drip down to the bottom. And if there's a vapor barrier on that, it will never be able to escape. You'll never be able to get that evaporated fluid out of that void, and it will continuously live within the cavity of your van. So that is the very long answer. In my opinion, a vapor barrier traps moisture within that cavity. And you've already made or added lots of material to prevent that condensing from happening on the outside skin of your vehicle. Plus, you're inside a metal box. There could be 1, 2, 4 of you sleeping within this metal box. You're never going to completely escape vapor condensing on the inside of your vehicle. I would say don't put a vapor barrier on the inside of your vehicle, because ultimately there will always be a way for moisture to condense on those panels, and then if you trap it in, it'll stay in there. If you don't put a vapor barrier on the vehicle, the air will be able to run through all the cavities, the vehicle will be able to breathe. So no, we don't put a vapor barrier. That is my professional opinion. I have built vans, I have converted vans, I have lived in vans, I've travelled in vans by myself, everything. And in reality, you're in a metal box with glass windows, and they're not insulated for the most part. You will always get condensation in your vehicle. What I would say is, don't waste your time with thermal vapor barrier. Get a heater and ventilate. Heating and ventilation is what you have in your house. Heating and ventilation. Okay. Very, very long-winded answer, but maybe we can take this as a clip and share it elsewhere. So Billy, I hope that answers your question. So going back to, I asked earlier what people would like or what people do as their jobs, and you have come in and you have replied, so thank you very much. John Sear says, Monday to Friday, I'm a software analyst, Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy, manager of a plant hire company. Evolution's come in and says, evening all, late to the party, what have I missed? Well, hopefully you've just got some information there. I hope that's okay. Where's Wilma says, hi guys, running late this week, but we are here now. I, Kieran, finish up here, go to bed, then wake up on a Monday to be a boring IT man. Yawn. Where's Wilma says, bless you. Taxi driver says, when I was a kid, about 10 years, I used to crush up my dinky cars, Hot Wheels, etc. in my workbench vise to make scrap cars for my model railway. What have I done? Oh no. Michael Cosgrove says, sailing, it's the reason I decided to buy a van, to be able to carry all the equipment, plus my own gear, and the dogs, plus their gear. Dub says, vapor barrier equals more rust in my opinion. There we go. A taxi driver says, what about the parts of the van, like the bodywork structure you cannot get to? Well, hopefully I answered that question there, taxi driver. Whereas Wilma says, inside that structural part is an air pocket. That air pocket will be insulation in its own right. Billy Daly says, brilliant answer. Thank you for explaining that, Leigh. Much appreciated, mate. Not a problem at all. Alan Wilson says, Thursday to Sunday, pub landlord's chef. Brilliant stuff. Alex Thorne is in. He says, hi. Good evening, Alex. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Taxi driver says, can you use expanding foam to fill the voids you cannot get to? Yes, you can. But I guarantee you do not want to do that, taxi driver. That is where you really, really trap moisture. And if you ever try to change anything in your van or run some extra wires and you filled it with expanding foam, that is not a good look. So please, please, please do not fill your voids with expanding foam. Like I said before, ultimately, you would never, ever, ever be able to fill all the voids or insulate your entire van. You've got to understand that at the end of the day, you are trying to sleep and habitate inside a metal box. Unless you are building a habitation box and putting it on the back of a truck like you see all these overlander type people do, you've got to just understand you are going to be in a metal box and you can't insulate it fully. You could try, but in reality, if you are trying to escape the vapor, you're going to have to up your vehicle size and you're going to have to up your budget, because the best way to go about it is effectively building a habitation box like the guys over at MAD, Motorcraft Adventure Developments. If you have a look at those guys on YouTube or social media or their website, they've really got it down. Motorcraft Adventure Developments, or MAD for short. Alex Thorne says, what about just the thermo fleece, not the liner? You can, do you know what? When it comes to insulation, when it comes to building your van, you can build it whichever way you want. You can do whatever you want. You can just put fleece in, you can just put sound deadening in. You can do whatever you want with your van. The reason we are here on YouTube, the reason we are here on Q&As and things like that, and that's the reason why we have advice on our website and we have our podcast, etc., because I'm trying to educate through my experience of traveling in vehicles and building vehicles every day for the past 9-10 years. The way we found to do things best is X, Y, Z. Okay. Alex Thor, sorry, a taxi driver that says, how about stuffing the voids with the fleece? Yes, stuffing the voids with fleece is brilliant. If you can get it in there, brilliant. But again, you are in a metal box. You are never going to fill everything up, and you're never going to escape the fact that there's thermal transfer. I can never get the phrase right. But let's say the thermal transfer between materials. If you have your front door and you've got a metal doorknob on the outside and a metal doorknob on the inside, if you're inside, you might hold that door handle on the inside of your front door and realise thermal bridging. Thank you, Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy. You will have a thermal bridge from the outside to the inside, from the outside doorknob connected through to the inside doorknob. That is what's called thermal bridging. By applying the sound deadening, insulation and thermal fleece and ply lining and carpet, etc., is to remove that thermal bridging. It's why we have double glazed windows. The thermal bridging in that case is the vacuum within the 2 panes of glass. That's what we're trying to avoid. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy, thank you very much. My brain went for a walk just then. John Sear says, I keep a small passive dehumidifier in the van when we stay out in it. Really cheap from a supermarket. Yeah, is that one of those like little tubs with some sort of granules in the bottom? They're actually quite good. But like I say, maybe have a chat with Paul from Adventure Van Life 1. Obviously, he is in a Sprinter van in the Arctic Circle right now. And when we came to build that van, we had to think about thermal bridging a lot, because obviously with minus 40 degrees outside, down to minus 40 degrees, we even had to think about our fixings and fastenings on the van itself. Because if you put a screw through some metal, would it then thermal bridge to then create, like say if a screw head is exposed, the thermal bridging might go all the way through the metal. So before we put the headliner up, for example, we put some thermal insulation between the ribs of the roof before we then put the roof liner up to prevent as much thermal bridging as possible. So yeah, it's a possibility. Do excuse me. I'm just going to put my phone on charge here. Hopefully it'll stand up right. Ta-da! Yay, we did it. John Sear says, yes, tub with granules. Alex Thorne, do you know the rough price to put in a side window or two? Depends on the vehicle, depends on the type and size of window, and depends how many you want. Generally, what we equate for at work is 2 hours per window, and that's generally 2 guys for 1 hour. We charge 2 hours out for that, and then you've got to take into account the window you want to fit, and the accessories that go with it, be it the U trim that goes around the sharp metal edge once you've cut out a panel, and the adhesives and things like that. Whereas Wilmate, you can now get those dehumidifiers that are a bag of the granules and you can recharge them by microwaving them dry. Yeah, they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've seen vans with them all the way across the front of the dash. I've seen them tucked in cupboards. I've seen them under beds. They almost look like rat traps. But yes, they are very, very good. Right, we are 45, very nearly 46 minutes into our hour-long live. First of all, thank you very much for tuning in. Secondly, thank you for contributing to the live. It's what makes it possible. I could just sit here and blabber for an hour, but having you guys, you know, asking questions, and responding to other people's questions is absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much. So be it that we've only got sort of 13 or so minutes left, what other questions do you have? What subjects do you want to raise? If you've got questions about travel, camper van conversions, etc., etc., we're here for another 13 or so minutes. Dubs, do you sell MVL, mass loaded vinyl? Do you know what, Dubs? That is the first time I've heard that phrase, mass loaded vinyl. Can you divulge into that a little bit for me, Dubs? Thank you very much. John Sear says, good night all. Thanks, Leigh. John, nice to see you again this evening. So if you weren't here at the beginning, we spoke immediately about, whose van was it? Michael Cosgrove's van. That was fantastic. He's just bought himself a new L2H2 Transit Custom. That was really cool. And we got into what you're drinking this evening. I've actually just finished mine, but it was a squash, very boring. So if you are in, you do want to chat, or you do want to join a chat, what are you drinking this evening? Some people had some really nice Irish liqueur with some Coke. Other people have just got some sparkling water. I normally have a tea or coffee, but I've had far too many today. So just on the squash today. We've also done a tour of the garage, which is just a white and grey box at the moment with some extra lights in. No vehicle in here just yet, but I'm hoping this week there is going to be a vehicle in here. And so next Sunday, we can do a tour around the bay. Casper the Friendly Cooking Apple says Jam Shed. Yes, Jam Shed. Julian Martin says, I watched your video where you fitted the orange window blinds to the VW. Is that a bespoke product, or can it be fitted to the same size window in a different van? Now, generally, well, that is what's called a van shades window pod. And they are, Jam Shed is a drink. Sorry, I just thought you had a weird typo there, Casper, the Friendly Cooking Apple. Jam Shed is a drink. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. A bit more information next time. I have no idea about drinks and things like that. Jam Shed is a drink. It's a red wine. Nice. I can see the confusion on your face. Sure. Brilliant. Thank you. So back to Julian. Yes. So those orange blinds were Van Shades window pods. Currently, Van Shades make window pods for the VW Transporter, the Transit Custom, and the generic van that everybody puts a badge on. I can't remember, it's called like the PCV van or something. It's like the Vivaro, there's a Fiat version, a Toyota version, and something else. Scudo, I think. So yeah, they do one for that van, the Transporter and the Transit Custom. There is a way that you can order bespoke blinds through Van Shades or through us, and we are hoping to engineer further products to be able to make sure Van Shades can be fitted in other vans. So yes, look forward to that. Ditch Biker's Guide to the Galaxy. Is there room for you to do a live from the garage once the bay is in there? Dude, where there is a will, there is a way. There will be a live here. I might be here leant up against my toolbox, knocking my toolbox down. Got a nice view of the underneath of my combi boiler there. So yes, there'll be enough room. Come on, we can do this. Do you not remember the broom cupboard? Philip Schofield, Gordon the Gopher, they managed to make a whole TV show in the broom cupboard, so I'm sure we can do a live from here. Dubs says, sound deadening for cab floor. I got 3mm deadening. This goes on top, then carpet. Yeah, so we've done videos on sound deadening for the cab floor. We do a cab upgrade bundle on our website, and that consists of the sound deadening for the floor, yes, then sound deadening for the ceiling and doors, and then different products for that. But generally for a cab floor, if you don't have any sound deadening on there, we normally fit it underneath the rubber mat, the factory rubber mat. And if you want an over-the-top mat that looks like factory carpet, if you have a Volkswagen, Newton Commercial do a over carpet that makes your cab look like a factory caravel. Julie Martin says, thanks, mine's Vivaro, good stuff. Alex Thorne says, have to go soon, but thanks for all the information. Bless you, SC. Alex, thank you. You are very welcome. Goggy, motivate, says the broom cupboard. So remember that. Yeah, absolutely. English Capricorn, good day, says, hi there. When is the best day and time to pop down? I'm in Kent, looking to fit a set of BF Goodrich tyres and rims. Problem could be coilovers were previously fitted. Would that be a problem? So you're looking for BFG KO2 type tyres, like the off-roady tyres and rims. Coilovers, lowered vehicles, BFG KO2s, and let's say some Swampy type wheels have been done on lowered vehicles. Now, we are not a wheels, tyre or suspension specialist. Yes, we've done some videos in the past. Yes, we have some experience in it, but we are not a mechanical garage down at Combe Valley Campers. So we can provide some advice based on our knowledge. But if you wanted coilovers, wheels, tyres fitted, we're not the place for that. We do have a garage on site, but not our garage. There is a MOT station and a commercial garage on site. But if you wanted that sort of work, we would have to forward you on. We don't do mechanical work at the workshop. But please feel free to pop down for some advice, English Capricorn. Where's Wilma says, at Michael Cosgrove, something like Google Maps or Waze with a GPS speeder on the screen. Oh, I missed that. Sorry there. Did I miss a question? Where did Michael Cosgroves go? Did I miss a question? I'm so sorry. There we go. My apologies. Question, what do people use for sat-nav in the van to take account of speed limits being different to cars? Very, very good question. So, oopsie, hang on. I just touched something on my screen there. So yes, where's Wilma? It says, at Michael Cosgrove, something like Google Maps or Waze with the GPS speeder on the screen, even better if you have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Yeah, absolutely, where's Wilma? That's what I tend to do, Michael. I have like a mag mount, like a charging mag mount on my screen or on my dash, and I run Google Maps, Waze or iMaps or something like that generally. And if I plug into my van, it actually comes up on the screen. But in my older vehicle, I just have my phone on the dash, absolutely. With iMaps or iPhone Maps doesn't give you your current speed, in my experience. I might be doing something wrong, but Google Maps do, and Waze certainly does. Where are we? Taxi driver says, you can knock through into next door's garage. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. There isn't anyone there. That's next door's garden. Nobody this side. We've got neighbours the other side, but nobody this side. So I could knock through, but there wouldn't be anything there. Alan Wilson says, what's your thoughts on using a T-class fuse or MGNF with a lithium battery? I've not fitted one yet. I'm going to have to look into that, Alan, because I don't know what a T-class fuse is, or I might, but I can't picture it right now, or MGNF, an acronym or abbreviation I've not seen before. Fitted lithium batteries, plenty of them, but a T-class fuse or a MGNF, I would have to look into that for you. So if you want an answer, once I've done maybe a bit more further research or spoken to James at Rain Automotive, please feel free to email us info@combevalleycampers.co.uk. English Capricorn, not sure, need advice on that. Would that be a problem? So going back to your question, English Capricorn. Oh, okay, he said, okay, thanks. Okay. Motivate says, in the UK, when you put alloys on your vehicle, is there something you have to do or check that it's okay? In Germany, there is a code that should match what vehicles your vehicle can carry. It's confusing. Yeah, do you know what? The UK have no hard and fast rules on alloys and aftermarket. Certainly not like Germany. Like if you make it in Germany and most of mainland Europe, if you need any modification to any vehicle, it has to either be approved, a TUV approved product, or if you make a significant enough modification, it then has to go through a test, etc., etc. It's difficult in Europe, but generally they're hoping you can deal with that yourself. You know, on a vehicle such as a van, you need load rated wheels, you need load rated tyres, you need the proper suspension, etc., etc. But in reality, unless it fails an MOT or you get pulled and deemed that your vehicle is unsafe, you can literally chuck anything on your car and drive here. Gary Newton says, hi, I have a van furniture U-shaped setup. Could you help out with ideas for a full width custom mattress topper? 40 winks. I think you get them through our website. The 40 winks mattress topper, perfect. And it folds up super, super nicely. Michael Cosgrove says, Google Maps and Waze don't allow you to choose the vehicle type as a van. Do you know what? Waze might, because I'm sure I had a little camper van on Waze once. I currently have the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, because when the movie came out, Waze had a promotion. So I'm currently driving around Ecto 1 on my Waze at the moment. Evolution says, I've been thinking about getting a diesel heater for my Vivaro. Any recommendation on brands? Yes, absolutely. Anybody who's been here before will know that we highly recommend, sell and advocate Autoterm diesel heaters. Autoterm planar diesel heaters. They're on our website. We've done some videos on them and there is a video coming soon. You can fit them internally, which is preferred, or you can fit them externally in a stainless steel box, all of which you can find on our website. Abdul Rahim, good evening, says, I appreciate all your help videos with camper conversions. Thanks. You are more than welcome. Gary Newton's given us a thumbs up. Taxi driver says Autoterm is the best. Yeah, Autoterm is a fantastic heater. It's certainly not a Chinese diesel heater that costs you £97 on Amazon or eBay, and it's not a Webasto that's going to cost you 1,200 quid plus fitting. It is a very, very good value for money diesel heater. They start at about £550, which I know is expensive. However, we have fitted dozens and dozens of these heaters. We have sold hundreds of these heaters and they are plug and play. Out of all the products that we have sold in the last 5 or 6 years, Autoterm diesel heaters are probably the ones that we get the least amount of calls on or customer service requirements on. Alan has come back and said, MGNF is marine grade battery fuse. I hear lithium's batteries have the power to melt a high power fuse and it can arc. Do you know what? When I build a system, I get all of my parts, Alan, through James at Rain Automotive. And I don't just use any fuse. I use Victron equipment and I use all the required fuses within them. Now, lithium batteries have the power to melt a high power fuse and it can arc. I mean, if a fuse is going to go, a fuse does melt and a fuse does break. I don't know how a lithium battery over anything else would have the power to melt one and it can arc. I mean, a fuse is a fuse, it's designed to be a fuse. I will have to do a bit more research into that. But yes, in the last 3 months, I've built 2 systems using lithium ion batteries. One is using 4 260 amp hour batteries. So you've got 1,000 amp hours of lithium-ion batteries at 24 volts. And that runs our gaming van, which is a long wheelbase, high top transit with 8 consoles, 9 TVs, stereo system, etc., and it can run for 8 hours on a lithium battery. And again, we're using all Victron gear and the required size cables. And the other one we have built recently is the off-grid Mercedes, which is nearly 1,000 amp hours. I believe they're 480 amp hour batteries times 2. Again, no problems with those, but we did use a Tiger X-Bed bus bar with that, and they're a fantastic piece of kit. Really, really good. And gosh, that is 9 o'clock already. I'm not going to just disappear at 9. Bye. No, that's not my style. I'm going to just read the last couple of comments and we can go from there. Evolution says, I will take a look at your site. Many thanks. You are more than welcome, Evolution. Michael Cosgrove says, thanks, Leigh. I did not see the option in Waze, but I'll check again. TomTom allows you to set your vehicle as a lorry, plus you can specify max speed. Not the same as van speed limits, not free. Do you know what? In Bully, every time we go travelling around Europe, we have the phone on one side of the dash clocks and the TomTom on the other. And I love using a TomTom because you're never interrupted with phone stuff. It's just there and it's just doing its job in the corner. And then you can track your whole route that you might have taken as like a red line. I actually really like using both things because it's nice to have a redundancy, right? So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Michael, thank you for being in today. Julian Martin says, another great hour of info sharing / gathering. Many thanks and see you next time. Whereas Wilma says, I think he means TomTom app. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've never used a TomTom app. But having a TomTom as a backup redundancy, if there's no signal, etc., it's actually really, really good. James says, it is recommended to use an MBRF or a T-fuse as apparently the lithium battery has the capability to arc across a blown megafuse. Again, I've not seen that. But looks like I've got some learning to do. So I will go ahead and do some research and I'll speak to James at Rain Automotive as well. That's fantastic. Guys, girls, people, thank you very, very much for joining us again on this Sunday evening. My name's Leigh. This is the Combe Valley Campers YouTube channel. And I've had a wonderful time again. It's been brilliant. Thanks so much for sharing all your thoughts and your questions. Let's go through the last ones just quickly. Dub says, thanks for the live chat and garage tour. Thanks to you and your team. Same time next week. Yep, same time next week, absolutely. Motivate says, what are your thoughts on these Apple Play and CarPlay devices that also work as rear view cameras? I have no experience of them yet. I've yet to play with one, but when I do, you'll be the first to know. Whereas Wilma says, thanks always, Leigh. James says, thanks, Leigh, and have a good week. Thank you, guys. Michael Crosgrove says, thanks, Leigh, and have a lovely week ahead. Guys, thank you very much. That is all from me today. I'm going to go and say goodnight to my girlies before I go sleep. I've got some uniform to iron, as ever. What a boring thing to do. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.